Welcome back to the Get Off the Treadmill podcast for small business owners and entrepreneurs, where we show you how to build a successful business and to have a life too. We're going to dive into another topic that helps us make more money in less time and to get off the treadmill so we can experience a life of significance. And now, your host and the author of the #1 best-selling business book, Making Money is Killing Your Business, Chuck Blakeman.
Hi, and welcome. This is Chuck Blakeman. I'm excited to be with you today. We're going to talk about the difference between being rich and wealthy. In my first 6 businesses, I spent most of my time trying to make money, thinking it would give me freedom. I came by that focus on making money very honestly. I think we've all been taught that money is the goal, and that if we have it, everything else will fall into line. We get money, we'll get freedom. So I just assumed that money would make me free, but it didn't. For 6 businesses straight, I got money and I got no freedom. And it turns out that 85 years of research by Harvard says otherwise. Research shows money doesn't make us happy. It won't give us freedom. It shouldn't be the goal. Actually, other research shows there is some correlation between happiness and money until you get to the point where you can cover all your basic living expenses. And after you've got them covered, money does not apply to making us happy or giving us freedom. But I didn't know any better, so I was doing what everyone else was doing, chasing money in order to get freedom. After a couple decades of making decent money building 6 businesses, and I should note here, I'm a slow learner. Hopefully it won't take you that long. I had a blinding flash of the obvious, or what we call a BFO, that I wasn't any happier than I was a couple decades earlier. And worse yet, I had a lot less freedom. I had to ask myself how I ended up there. And of course, the hard answer eventually found me. I had actually made this whole thing happen. The old saying, he or she who makes the rules wins, or in this case, making rules where you don't win. I had made rules that were making me win at the game of business, but lose at the game of life. This was my fault. I had no freedom to enjoy the money I had. So long story short, I have now invested a couple decades in learning how to achieve real freedom in my business, not from it. And I now have the privilege of helping others do that. A couple of years ago, I got a call from somebody asking me to take a look at their business and see if there was any way to make it less dependent on them. Their business was rocking and they were taking home, I think, close to $1 million a year take home. Not bad. They mentioned how very grateful they were about the wealth they had been able to accumulate. And after talking to them for a few minutes, I suggested, I need more information, but I'm not sure you are wealthy. And of course, they pushed back hard and listed all their assets. And that gave us a topic for our first meeting together, freedom, which led us to a new understanding of wealth. Their financial and hard assets were impressive, but as we walked through their work and their work week, it was apparent they were very poor when it came to time and availability. They were hostages to their business. They didn't actually own the business like they thought the business owned them. Even though the IRS would disagree, I would have categorized them not as a business owner, but as an income producer like I was for the first 6 businesses of my career. Without their direct involvement in producing revenue, there would be almost none. Anytime they stopped, the business stopped. That's an income producer. But I asked for their definition of freedom, and they gave me a fairly classic definition. I think they said freedom is the right and the ability to act, speak, and think as they please, without hindrance or restraint. Pretty classic definition. Through my first 5 businesses, I would have given a similar definition, but in the 6th business, I started in 2006, I had come to the end of myself. I was tired. And for the first time, I had that BFO about being an income producer. And I used that label to describe myself and the few decades of work before that. I realized I wasn't really a business owner in practice, but only on paper. That's when I came up with a better definition of freedom, specifically for myself, and then for other business owners and any others who wanted authority over their lives. Fundamentally, freedom is the ability to choose. That's the beginning of the definition. But for us as business owners, and I would suggest for most people, freedom is the ability to choose what to do with my time and my money. That's real freedom. I get to choose. Wealth doesn't come from having money, but from having both time and money. And freedom is the same thing. Freedom comes from having both time and money. Wealth and freedom are very closely related. And then we have a third resource we put in there, personal energy, through diet, exercise, and getting our mindset right. And when we have all 3 of these, we have wealth. And wealth gives us true freedom and the ability to finally get off the business treadmill. So the game we should be playing in our business is how to create wealth, not riches. How do we get our businesses to regularly and reliably produce both time and money, not just money? I know plenty of rich people who are not wealthy, but I don't know any wealthy people who don't have all the time and money they desire. That's not to say they're all one percenters. They're not, but they have all that they want of both time and money. And that is a wealthy person. First, we have to understand what time and money really are. We get sideways on this because society has taught us that money is the goal and time is something you get when you retire and stop making money. A ludicrous notion in multiple ways. To begin with, neither time nor money are goals. They are resources, which speaks to understanding and motivation. One of the reasons I've seen people not make a lot of money is because they didn't understand that both time and money are just that, resources. Those resources and the personal resource of energy are how we get to the real goal of building a significant life, whatever that means to you. And that's the key. We need to have a clear picture of what a significant life means to us. Because if you don't have utter clarity about what you will do with a resource once you have it, it's less likely you'll ever get enough of that resource because you really don't know what you would do with it if you had it. If I don't know what a significant life looks like for me, and I'm not pursuing that as a goal of having a business, I'm not going to experience my business giving me back time and maybe not even much money. Remember, you get what you intend, not what you hope for. If we hope for a significant life, we're not likely to get one. If we intend to live in significance and we have resolved to get the money and the time from our business to create that freedom, we are rich beyond measure. We'll have another podcast on how to actually get that significant life. So we have a simple significance formula we can focus on while we're running our businesses to put the resources and the goal in the proper perspective. The significance formula is time plus money plus energy equal the ability to live a significant life. The more we have of all three, the wealthier we are and the more freedom we can experience. You might be thinking, I don't have time to do this right now. I'll get after it next year. Sounds great. Too busy on the treadmill. Let's chase this rabbit next year. Well, my good Irish friend John Heenan has a question for just that thought. His question is, are you making decisions based on where you are or on where you want to be? And it makes sense. If you're making decisions based on where you are, where do you think you'll be next year? Probably the same place. And still saying, I'll do this next year. It's like free beer tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Next year really never comes. If you're making decisions based on where you want to be, it might be more motivating to you to start figuring out how to get this done today, to get your business to start giving you back time and money today, not just money. Getting back to my new friend who was learning the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Remember the definition after I gave him my perspective that a wealthy person is someone who has both time and money regularly and reliably from their business. I asked if they still thought they were wealthy or if maybe they were just rich. It's a disorienting juxtaposition at first, but they soon came to realize that wealthy people have time, not just money. And freedom requires that we have both time and money at our disposal to do with what we please. They were just rich. Rich people have money. Wealthy people have time and money, and that gives them freedom. And in whatever quantity works for them to build their life that they want. I've learned the hard way that pursuing resources like time and money as if they were goals is just an empty pursuit. And my friend figured that out as well. Once he realized they were only rich and not wealthy and definitely not free, they went about changing the way business was done so that it would produce both time and money for them, not just money. They moved from being an income producer to a business owner. It took them a little less than 18 months. Sometimes it takes a few months, sometimes it takes a couple of years. They went from working 5 days or more a week, producing the lion's share of that revenue so they could take home $1 million a year, to working a day or two a week and producing almost none of the business revenue. And now they take home exponentially more than they used to with a much shorter work week. They are a business owner now, not an income producer. Sometimes all we need is just a mindset shift to learn how to make more money in less time. So let's forget being rich. Let's stop chasing money as if it were the goal. Instead, I intend to be wealthy in both time and money, which gives me the freedom to live a life of significance. After all, that's the goal. And everything else is just resources to invest in that goal. As we focus on the goal and understand the right place of time and money as resources, that will play out much differently in our lives and in our businesses. Let's be wealthy, not just rich. Let's use the significance formula. Time plus money plus energy equals the ability to create a significant life for ourselves. And let's Choose wealth, not just riches. If you choose riches, you're likely to become a hostage to your business. Choose wealth, and you'll be choosing freedom. I'll see you next time.
That wraps up another episode of the Get Off the Treadmill podcast. If you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe and hit the like button to ensure you are receiving the latest tools you need to grow your business and to get off the treadmill. If you want more information on the 3 to 5 Club, the Crankset Group, or to book Chuck as a business advisor, speaker, or workshop leader, you can contact us at grow@cranksetgroup.com. Until next time, have a great week.